Hey everybody, my name's Adam. We're going to get started with the chat in just a few minutes, your Q&A, and we want to make sure that we hear from you. So we'd love to hear if you could let us know that you can hear us, you can see us, let us know that you're getting this video coming through. And excited today to be joined by Alex and Michael. What is the weather like there in Elkhart today?
It is about 75 and very humid. So we're shooting from inside because there's a chance of thunderstorms.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. Lots of, I think we're going to get that here in Ontario. We're going to get that thunderstorm system just after you. So all of a sudden, if you hear thunder coming through my mic, you'll know why.
Exactly.
Okay, we've got some people watching along. Please, if you can hear us, please let us know you can hear us. Leave a comment. We would like to know that we can hear from you. You can see us, and let us know where you're watching from today. We'd love to hear from you. And we're going to get started in just a couple minutes. We're a few minutes early, just checking the technical and hoping that you can hear us all right. So just let us know if you can. That'll be helpful. Chris says audio and video is good. Katie says, and we can see you. That's great. Larry says sound is good in Texas.
All right.
Excellent. Let us know where you're watching from. So I am here to help get your questions to Michael and Alex, who are the experts. I'm just a sort of pretty face who's here to make sure that the comments get to them and the questions. But let us know where you're watching from. I'm here from Ontario, Canada today. And Alex and Michael are on site in Elkhart and would love to know where you're watching from. So Larry's watching from Texas, and Katie's watching from Northern Michigan. Excited to be watching. That's great. Larry is watching. He says everything sounds good in Texas. Melissa is watching from Elkhart with a couple smiley faces. That's excellent. Wonderful. And we can be heard. Robin can hear us in Bear Lake, Michigan. That's good news, too. And let's see where else. Chris is watching from Pittsburgh. I was going to say, I'm not sure what the OA means, but actually that is Pennsylvania. Thank you, Chris, so much for clarifying. Appreciate that. And Carolyn in Bear Lake says, hi, Daddy.
That's my little one.
And Jill is watching from Colorado. Watching from Pittsburgh. Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We're excited to take your questions. We're just going to get started in about 2 minutes. We just want to check the audio. Just a reminder that we will be taking questions during the broadcast. So if you have a question, you can leave it right there in the YouTube chat. And we picked up some questions ahead of time from some of the forums and from social media. And so we've got some questions ready to go. But if you have any questions live, we would love to hear from you. So please feel free to stick that in the chat, and we'll take as many of the live questions as we can. Let's see. Donnie says, Marty, Chad, and Tanner are watching from Montana. Greg is watching from Florida. Wow, we've got friends from all over the place watching along with us. Thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions, we would love to hear from you. Let's see. Lori's watching from Elkhart as well with a heart emoji. And Paris is coming in from Utah. Greg and Lois are watching from Wyoming. Cool. Wow. Thank you so much for tuning in and coming to hang out with us today. If you have any questions today, we would love to hear from you. And Alex and Michael, I think we are officially ready to start the chat. If you're good, to start the broadcast, I should say. If you're good, I'm going to leave it in your hands, and you can take over from here.
All right. Well, welcome, everyone. We're really excited for our very first ever Dynamax live stream. My name is Michael Wagner. I'm the West Coast sales rep. And we're really excited to be outside of, it's actually the brand new 2025 24 SS is the Murphy bed. It's the newest addition to our Freedom Edition. And when we head inside, we'll go over some of this stuff specifically for the Freedom Edition. However, if you want to get a glimpse of the new floor plan, we'll have multiple cameras inside, and we'll be able to show you that as well. I'm going to turn it on over to Alex.
Hi. Yes, I am Alex. I am a sales application engineer for Xantrex. I helped with the design and implementation of this build, and so we're going to go over quite a few things today, little tips and tricks and things that you may want to know, or if you're thinking about getting one of these things, you might need to know before you get it, right? It's a great unit. It's got the Freedom eGEN package, so generator that's quiet, right?
So a lot of the questions, as Adam had mentioned, Adam is our moderator here. He's awesome. He's going to keep us on task and on topic. So please shoot him questions via the chat, as well as we have a ton of questions that have come to us from our Facebook groups, our Forest River forums, and this will be able to really get a lot of the information that you might be a little bit uncertain of or that you're curious of. I know we have a lot of current owners, a lot of prospective owners, and we actually have some sales guys from some dealerships as well as some service people. So we've got a whole good mix. So no question is off the table, and we're really happy that you guys are tuning in. So without further ado, let's head inside.
Yeah, let's go on inside. All right. Start up here. All right, Adam, what's our first question there, buddy?
Oh, sorry about that. My mic was muted. I apologize. We've got a few people who've asked if we could mirror the video because they shouldn't have a passenger side slide. So Michael, maybe you could help us understand what we're looking at with that passenger side slide there.
Out there.
Yeah, so that's a driver's side slide. So it just needs the video needs to be flipped. So good call, whoever pointed that out. I think we're good on all the other videos from not being flipped. That just happened to be one. So
just
hey, we're still learning. We're not experts at this. So.
Good catch. Well, the first thing we want to talk about is the proper settings on the inverter and the options. So Alex, maybe you could run us through those settings.
Yeah, no problem. So a lot of the settings, moved out on it. A lot of the settings should be set from factory using Dynamax goes throughs and sets all of those in-house, but there are some options that you can change. What we're going to be looking at is the Firefly display. I think that is what most people are going to be using to do their changing and algorithms and all that stuff. After all of this, we are going to be posting this kind of Q&A that I have gone through, and we've flushed out and figured out what we need to be doing for that. And so that will be posted, so you don't have to remember all of this word for word verbatim. But let's go ahead and go over to the Firefly display. All right.
Turn it sideways.
Is it not? There we go. Nailed it. Okay. So let's start from the beginning, go through the middle, and stop at the end. So when you get to your Firefly display, it's going to have this nice, pretty background, Dynamax up in the upper left corner. You're going to want to go to the electrical system. That's going to give you all of the options, let you know where your pass-through is going, where your electricity flow actually is. We are attached to shore right now, so this is letting us know that we are taking a charge in, and we're using our power for other things in the vehicle, mainly lights, air conditioning, and all that jazz. If you hit the Xantrex settings, that's going to give you all of the readouts of the settings for the inverter. Most of them. There's a couple of them that are kind of hidden away, but we'll get to those later. These ones are the ones that are most important. And again, they should be from factory set, but just to kind of give you a glimpse of what we are looking at. Low battery cutoff, 10.5. Recovery level is 11.4. Output voltage, 120, because we are in North America. Output power limit, 300 seconds. That's a countdown timer. If you go output over current or over limit, what it's going to do, it's going to count 300 seconds after that, and then it'll shut the inverter off. VAC dropout, that's your shore inlet power. If you sag below 90 volts, the inverter will kick on. Or kick off, sorry, I apologize. We have our output frequency, 60 hertz, again, North American standard. Transfer mode, we have that from factory set as appliance. If we go over here, we're going to see that our shutdown recovery is an auto. Audible alarm is on. Battery temperature is hot. We actually would like that to be warm, and that's a good thing that we have this here. We can do a change on that, right? 150 for our amperage output.
Just a second, Alex. Your video has frozen on your phone, but we're still. I can see. Okay, just a minute. Let's see who you can see. I can see. Alex, your video is frozen on your phone there. Let's see which camera angle I can get a hold of somebody there. So as you said, we're going to be taking lots of questions today. If you can still hear me, please let me know in that chat. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We're using Alex's phone so he can show you around the unit and show you some close-up details. And I want to be sure that he can get that phone working so that we can both hear him, but also see what he wants to connect with, what he wants to show you, and also that we can hear him. So if you could still hear me, please let me know. I want to make sure that you can hear me. And Katie says you can hear me. Okay, good. So it looks like it's Alex is going to be sorting that out. So if you have any questions about the unit or about the system, then please leave those in the chat. We're going to make sure that we get all those questions answered today. And we can see Alex's phone is joined back up. So here's Alex. He's joined back up with his phone there.
So my question, Alex, that I had, or what are some of we mentioned the battery temperature hot.
Yes.
What are some of the lithium properties that we need to be aware of to make sure that the battery doesn't get too hot?
Right. So the setting in here is for lithium, it doesn't really, it does care, but I'm going to say that it doesn't care about what temperature it is because it doesn't alter the charging parameters based off of what temperature it's at. The temperature in here, what it's doing is it's replacing, it's usually for lithium or lead acid batteries where it's adding 0.4 or subtracting 0.4 volts to the charging algorithm based off of what the temperature is, right? For our lithium batteries, caveat, this is kind of where it's important to know lithium batteries are happiest where you're happy, right? So we do have a temperature range that we would want to be in. 32 degrees Fahrenheit up to 131, I believe, is what we have in our owner's manual. You might have to look that up to be 100%. That's off the top of my head, but I believe that's where we're at. That is the best case scenario if you could keep a lithium battery there, right? The charging algorithm, usually we keep it at warm because that's a zero differentiation when you're charging.
So it acts, the properties act the way that it's supposed to act when you're in a warm setting. When you're in a hot setting, it probably doesn't work exactly how it should based on what the algorithm is telling you.
So for hot, it's just going to add 0.4 to all of your values.
So something like in this, what we've done at Dynamax is we've cut a small hole to vent the inverter area so that in extreme temperatures, it's not going to get as hot. One thing we can do as well is open up the door. Right now, we just opened it on up. We've had the AC running earlier. It's hot and muggy here today. So that's why it's probably reading a little bit higher than normal. And we'll eventually, by the time everything cools off, it'll be back down to that warm setting. So that's the idea. You can find all of those, the parameters there on page 28 of your owner's manual. And that will give you 28 of your owner's manual.
Yep.
There it gives you long-term storage issues, battery removal, and what temperatures they're on page 28.
True.
So we got a quick question that came in from Larry, and Larry's saying summer in Texas can have air temperatures of up to 108, and the compartment temperatures might go above 110. How will the system handle those temperatures, and what's the best practice for the system, since we're talking about temperature anyway?
Absolutely. Well, on that note, let's go ahead and go take a look at the compartment. We do have that 3-inch hole that Michael was talking about. We'll go take a look at that.
Okay, sounds good. So let's make sure that we can see Alex's phone. He's going to take us and show us the compartment here.
Can you go hit the cargo button?
Yep.
All right. So on this particular model, as we were saying before, this is the new 24SS. So we we stop right here with the slide out. All of the other ones have kind of a ledge here. So right beneath that is where you're actually going to find your battery box. I do apologize. We are in a almost complete unit, but it looks like we're still missing a few things. Right back here in the ceiling, there is a 3-inch hole that's cut usually, and that is what is going to be your air vent. So that kind of gets you fresh air into the box. That's vented straight up into the compartment of the coach.
I would say also from a best practices standpoint of doing just this, of keeping that door cracked just a little bit. If you're parked in shade, that obviously will help. Parked in grass will take away a lot of that temperature as well. From the unit and the batteries themselves, as Alex had mentioned, they still work from a temperature of 131 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is something you do want to be a little bit careful of. When it's say you're 120 on asphalt, it's going to be a lot higher than that. So, and again, that would be something that just to be aware of.
Yeah, just something to be aware of while you're camping is what's the temperature outside, and do I need to crack that door open, or are we good where we are?
While we're here, let's go over some of these switches on the inside here, and we'll just talk about the battery box itself. I get a lot of questions from my potential customers and sales guys out at the dealerships of what is everything here? We see these two boxes, we see a box on the top. Let's just go through and from more of a basic standpoint, and then talk about what we would do from the best practices of storing the unit long term, winterizing and things like that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Let's take a peek.
All right. So what we're going to be looking at here, is we have our main battery disconnect is your top disconnect switch here, right? Quarter turn, half turn. Yeah, quarter turn. That's where we're at. That's going to be your main terminal breaker. That's where it says main disconnect. And the bottom one is going to be for your solar disconnect. So if you need to turn off your solar for any reason, that's where you're going to be going. Maintenance and things of that nature, right? You have your 2 lithium batteries themselves. They're going to be doing all of the heavy lifting with all of it. It does have the connections up at the front end. It's communication cables back there. And then on the ceiling is the Xantrex XC Pro 3000 inverter. That is going to be doing all the power delivery for you. So the conversion of DC into AC. On the front here, you can actually see our RVC communication. So that is going to be tying the whole system together so that you can mess around with this, play around, see what you have going on your Firefly display. It gives you lifetime readouts of everything using the cable system.
So that's the beauty of this system for those who don't own a Freedom Edition, is the fact that there's no generator and no propane on board. In its place, we have the 2 310 amp hour lithium batteries that work in unison with the 3,000 watt inverter, which also help with tie in to the solar, just to top off a little bit and give you a little bit of extra energy. However, there's also a secondary alternator that is underneath the hood that will, if when running or when you're going down the road, will charge those batteries. So while we're talking about the batteries, let's go over to the state of charge display on the inside, because we get a lot of questions on that.
Okay.
As to what are we looking at? What are we seeing?
Absolutely. Let you get there
first.
There you go. All right. I am just kind of running away with it. I apologize. This is our aggregator screen.
No, you're good. But actually, Michael, if you could adjust the laptop by the cab,
yeah.
Just perfect.
There we go. So this is our eGEN screen. This is a part of the. This is our eGEN screen. This is the kind of the head system of the whole Xantrex unit. You can kind of control everything from here, right? It gives you your display readout of your batteries combined. It gives you kind of a percentage of everything. Around the perimeter, it also gives you kind of a visual representation too, instead of just numerical. We have icons in the upper left or right corner. That's going to tell you everything that's going on with the vehicle. And we do have a glossary on the second page. It kind of breaks down what each one of those symbols are about. And then it just kind of gives you all of your pertinent data. Charge, how much do we have coming in right now? 150, 149, 150 amps coming in. We are connected to shore power, 30 amps right now. Voltage, we're seeing that as 13.6 watts, whatever we're using. Battery, we're seeing 138 going into the battery. The rest of it is going to be used somewhere else in the coach. We do have the lights on. Temperature of the batteries themselves, we're seeing that. And then how many batteries are online, that's important too. If you see one of two, and this is only going to charge up to about 50%, that means you only got one battery online. That means you have 100% of one battery. In that case, you'd probably call us. We'd do some troubleshooting with you, or there's a couple other things that we can get taken care of there. We'll go over that in this this live stream. So
one of the questions we get, Alex, is looking at the color code system.
Yes.
Where it's green and yellow and red, and there's arrows going one way. What does all that mean?
Absolutely. So we do color code this, right? So we make it very easy for you to know what's going on. So 100 down to about 41% aggregated overall, you're going to be seeing a green layout. And that's just to let you know, hey, you're good to go. Everything is fine. Once you hit 40 down to 21, all of these lines, the numerical value, everything turns yellow. That just kind of lets you know you're in the medium state. You have a charge, but you're not fully topped off. And then 20 down to, I'm going to say about 10, it's going to be red. And that red is to let you know, hey, you're getting to the end of your charge. You should probably start plugging in or thinking about starting the engine, something of that nature. At 10, we do have a kind of a floor cutoff where the inverter or the batteries will start a countdown timer in the upper left corner to kind of let you know, hey, we're getting pretty low on charge. You can still use your battery below 10, but we would strongly recommend trying to get a charge into them if you get that low. Just kind of give you a view.
Are there any other built-in cutoffs on that, like such as like a 25% or any sort of a warning? So I'm not sitting and camping all day, or I may run out and then all of a sudden I get back and I've got no battery power. What are the safe falls on this?
Absolutely. So we do have it's from 12 to 13 to 12, I should go that way. We do have a cutoff where we turn off the inverter because that draws a lot of power. And we feel like it's okay to turn the inverter off. You still have DC power, which is controlling all of your lights. So it's nice to be able to, hey, I can't turn the refrigerator on, or I can't turn the air conditioning on, but I still have the lights, so I can wander around the unit, find my my cord, and go and plug in, or start the engine if I need to do that.
Great.
Mm-hmm. That's the only other one that I can think of at the moment. Like I said, 10% and below, you're going to get a countdown timer in the upper left corner, kind of letting you know it's time to get charging. And we have this panel here. We also have, just want to let you guys, we have this second button down here. This is actually how you're going to have to turn the system on, right? Because this is a digital display. When we turn the batteries off from here, which I actually will show you right now, you can just hit the F1 button. It'll say, do you want to shut it down? We hit yes. The whole system's going to turn off. No, for the moment. We'll save that for a moment for now. But once that's dead, you can't turn anything on because the screen's dead. So we have a button down here that's going to be used to turn the system on.
What's the difference here between, we get this question a lot, this right here, this red switch, and then our switch, there's silver switch down below.
Absolutely. So up here, this is your red toggle switch. That's your basic switch to turn on most of the internal 12 volts Firefly